Okay, man. Uh, this Spence, I'm over here trying to kill a little bit of time, man, because I'm so into this show that I'm watching, man. Badass films. But orale, man, Total Trucker here, M.A.S movies and shows, and man, listen. One of the things growing up was action movies, right? And I want to do this with quite a few different actors, but today, just today, we are going to stick with one guy, man. That is one Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme, or as I was told by somebody who was raised and born and raised from in Belgium, you pronounce it Jean-Claude Van Damme. If you guys want to start pronouncing it properly, some people get a little bit upset, dog, when it's like, hey, man, my last name is not like this. This is the way you pronounce it. Hey, dog, if that's the way you're going to be, then you better start calling Jean-Claude Van Damme Jean-Claude Van Damme. What's up, Fred? What's going on, big dog? All right, man. So I'll probably wait a little bit, see if some other people jump on. And I will be dropping the link here in a few minutes too, dog, just to see if anybody wants to jump on and chop it up and let me know what's their favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I think I said this when I was doing my collection for Jean-Claude Van Damme. I got the VHS collection, and the first movie I ever seen him in was the movie Bloodsport. That was the very first time I'd ever seen him in. I kind of want to keep this to his movies, not movies that he's been in. Because if we go to movies that he has actually been in, then it opens a little bit of can of worms. But in reality, even the movies that he has been in, I don't think can top his best movies. If you guys understand what I'm saying, he was in the movie Breakin', which a lot of people like that movie. He was in the movie. He was in a couple of movies. He played that gay karate guy. I forgot what movie that was in. He was not too long ago. He was in the movie We Die Young, which is actually it's actually a pretty good movie, but I don't think it's better than one of his best movies, man. I don't think it's better than like Hard Target or anything like that. So yeah, and that's just a movie. Yeah, he is a star in some of those movies, but those aren't his movies. He's not the guy in that movie. I had said this before, right? When I did the collection that I had of Jean-Claude Van Damme, I had looked up how many movies he's been in, and it is crazy. It is insane, dog, to see how many movies he has actually been in. In all reality, when I take all the movies that he's actually been in, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm not sure I've seen them. I'm not sure I've even seen half of the movies he's been in. His later ones, I'm not really all that a fan of. The ones that I have seen. Let me see. I don't even want to count them on here, man. Just the movie. Yeah. The latest movie that I think I'm going to watch of his is probably Black Water. and maybe The Bouncer. Maybe I saw trailers to those movies, and they look okay. They look like they might be watchable. Wait, I drop my water. They look like they might be watchable. So I'm not gonna get into movies like Welcome to the Jungle. I don't know that one. Even a movie like Expendables Part 2, he's in that movie, but that's not his movie. A lot of the Universal Soldier movies are kind of dumb. He's in a movie called UFO. Um, he's in, yeah, man. Some of these movies, I'm just like not feeling it. I've seen some of these. Maybe I have seen more than half of his movies. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, yeah, I think I have seen more. I've seen The Order. I've seen Derailed. I've seen Legionnaire. I've seen The Replicant. Um, yeah, I've seen The Hard Corpse. Yeah, I have seen more than half of his movies. I've seen a lot of these Universal Soldier ones. Yeah, yeah, okay. But there's other ones that I haven't seen. I have not seen Pound of Flesh. I have not seen Enemies Closer. I have not seen UFO. I don't think I've seen Six Bullets. I don't think I have not seen Welcome to the Jungle. I have not seen Swelter. Um, yeah, those are ones that I haven't seen. And then he's in some animated ones like Kung Fu Panda Part 2. He's in a Minions movie. Um, Last Mercenary, I haven't seen. I haven't seen the two that I just named, which was Blackwater and the Bouncer. So, yeah. But when we think, at least when I think, um, Jean Claude Van Damme movies, I don't think any of those movies, none of those movies come to my mind. None. Even though those are probably some of the later movies that I've seen of his, the movies that come to my mind are movies like Bloodsport, Hard Target, Cyborg, Lionheart, Kickboxer, um, Time Cop, even movies like Sudden Death, The Quest. Um, what am I missing here? Double Impact for sure. Even some movies that aren't that good, like Street Fighter and Maximum Risk and Double Team and Knockoff, and those weirdo movies. Universal Soldier, those movies. Those are the ones that come to my mind whenever I think of one Mr. Jean Claude Van Damme. I don't think of his other movies. I don't think of like the later ones. Um, some of them are completely horrible. That movie In Hell is a gosh awful movie. Damn, that's a horrible movie, man. That is a tough watch. Um, but yeah, even Nowhere to Run, and I don't know if I mentioned Time Cop, but yeah, I think of those movies. Some are much better than others. I guess I can even throw in Universal Soldier: The Return on there, and that's probably as far as I go when I first hear Jean Claude Van Damme. All the other ones I don't really think of, even though I have seen them. Like I said, I've seen The Hard Corpse. I've seen uh um some of these other ones. JCVD is actually pretty good, but it's not great, especially when you compare it to some of his other ones. Like I said, the other Universal Soldier movies just not happening, man. So okay, what is the best Jean Claude Van Damme movie? I guess I'll go ahead and I'll probably put my list. I don't know how I should do it, man. I don't know if I should really do like a top five, or my favorite movie of his when I first saw it was Bloodsport, and that's the first time I ever seen him. Okay, that was the first time I ever seen Jean-Claude Van Damme, and that was my favorite movie at that time. Um, I had another favorite movie at that time as well, and that was the movie Delta Force with Chuck Norris. Um, along with Top Gun. But anyway, when Cyborg came out at that time, at that time, I rated that movie better than Bloodsport. I did. I don't know if it was just because I was a little kid. I don't know if it was just different. I don't know if it was kind of like because it was like Mad Max, or Road Warrior. Looking at it now, there is no way that I would put Cyborg above Bloodsport. Not happening, Holmes. Not happening, man. That for those that like the movie Cyborg, rewatch it. Por favor, go back and rewatch that movie. It is. It's not that good, man. It's okay. It's definitely watchable, and I do like it, but it really does not hold up. That movie is not that good. If you want to go ahead and watch it from beginning to end today, it's not that good of a movie. I watched Bloodsport from beginning to end, and I could watch it today, and it's still great. It's still all that and a bag of chips, Holmes. But Cyborg, man, like I said, at that time, I actually really loved the movie. Today, it's a little bit boring. A lot of downtime. It really is, man. It really is. Um, so looking at it now in order in the ways that I watched them, I would put Bloodsport definitely above Cyborg. Now, Kickboxer comes in right with Tom Paul. Um, I liked Kickboxer, and I still do like Kickboxer. I'm just not sure, man. I'm not sure which one's better, Bloodsport or Kickboxer. I'm having a very, very tough time with that. Um, I like both stories. They both they're both somewhat similar, kind of. They both have their differences. Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys this. Um, the fight scene, the final fight scene, I would have to go with Bloodsport. So I think I'm convincing myself right now that I like Bloodsport more than Kickboxer. Kickboxer gets a little, again, I understand, we're not looking for a true story here. And by the way, we're not going to get into the whole Bloodsport being a true story or anything, man. But um, so I mean, some of the things that happen in that fight scene, man, with JCVD and Tom Paul, is just it's a little over the top, man. I thought it was badass that they fight with glass and on their hand wraps. I thought that was badass, man. I love that. But seeing Van Damme just stand there with his hands completely down and Tom Paul just unload into his stomach and then go up and then just start unloading straight shots to his face when Van Damme's hands are completely down and he's just taking them like that. I even as a kid, that part, just that part, kind of killed the fight scene a little bit for me. I was like, I don't know, man. It's not really doing it for me, But outside of that, just that and that alone, everything else in Kickboxer was badass. I like the training. I thought I really enjoyed the training scenes in Kickboxer more than I like the training scenes in Bloodsport, even though the training scenes in Bloodsport are badass, man. But the training scenes in Kickboxer, I liked a little bit better. the meat on the side of his shorts where he's like, hey, this will make you run faster. It's like, this? How? Just puts it on him and then the dog starts chasing him. I just so that maybe, damn man, now I'm really stumped now, man, on what I really like more. Um I think uh I'm gonna go with blood sport still being better than kickboxer. Just the level of respect that he carried himself with um, really does it for me. I enjoy kickboxer, I do. And as far as, well, we'll get to that later on. But um, all right, so moving forward, I think it was Death Warrant that I saw after that. Now, Death Warrant is a good movie. I don't think Death Warrant gets the praise that it deserves because it Death Warrant kind of falls in the middle of a lot of the great Van Damme movies, and not a lot of people talk about it. It's the movie where he gets sent undercover to prison to, I don't know if it's in Chicago or if it's in LA, but he gets sent undercover to prison to find out what's going on. Why are prisoners dying, man? And he finds out why. And at the same time, he has this huge rivalry with this guy Sandman, who he believes is well, I don't want to ruin it, but anyway, man, it's like right smack in the middle with a lot of these badass, some of the greatest, Van Damme movies. And that's why I think it gets, overshadowed. But Death Warrant is definitely a good movie, man. Not his best though. Bloodsport's definitely better than that. I would go Kickboxer better than Death Warrant. Cyborg and Death Warrant. I think I like the action scenes more in Cyborg, but the storyline in Death Warrant are a little bit better, or is a little bit better. Wow, that's a doozy right there, man. Cyborg or Death Warrant. I think I'm gonna have to go with, man. I think kind of hate to do this because I really liked Cyborg as a kid. I really, really liked Cyborg as a kid. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Death Warrant on this one. I think I'm gonna go Death Warrant and then Cyborg. So, man, like I said, I hate to do that because as a kid, I really, really loved Cyborg. So, but I think I'm gonna go Death Warrant and then Cyborg. Um, Moving on, I think the one after that was Lionheart. Um, Lionheart. Now we're up in the ante here. Okay, when we talk about great JCVD movies, Lionheart um, kind of kind of took Bloodsport and Kickboxer, in a way, and made it into the streets. That's what I kind of looked at it as. I'm like, okay, cool. This is Bloodsport. This is Kickboxer, but we're in the streets now, homie. And that's what I really loved about it, man. He was a French legionnaire, and um he escapes. He goes AWOL. He goes AWOL from the legionnaire to back home because his brother was dying and basically died. I don't know. Spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen Lionheart. But anyway, um, it's basically, man, him fighting for money, and I just thought that was badass, Holmes. So Lionheart is underground fighting. Yes, Bloodsport is also underground fighting, and you can make an argument that even Kickboxer was somewhat underground fighting, but Lionheart was more in the calles. It was more in the streets, dog. That's what kind of changed the game for me. And while people make the comparison of Bloodsport and Kickboxer, I never hear anybody make the comparison with Lionheart, because Lionheart took it out of any sort of ring, even if it's underground, even if it's somewhat organized. It was just, hey, they're just get in there. We're on the streets, homie. We're just gonna find some other fighter, and you're just gonna handle it. Wherever you can. Where you fight in an empty swimming pool, or you fight at what was it, like a tennis court or a racket court or something like that. Hey, what's up, party familia? Gracias, brother. Just all these different places, man. I just thought it was badass and a half, Holmes. I really loved Lionheart, man. So, oh man, is it better than Bloodsport? I will tell you guys this: Lionheart for me is better than Death Warrant, and it is better than Cyborg. Is Lionheart better than Kickboxer? Is it better than Bloodsport? Whoo, man, Holmes. Okay, Lionheart for me is better than Kickboxer. Okay, is it better than Bloodsport though? Man, I'm a little bit lost for words, dog. I don't know if it's better than Bloodsport. If it's not better than Bloodsport, it's like right there, man. I really love Lionheart. I do. I love Lionheart, but ah, hmm, I'm gonna go Bloodsport. However, I'm thinking a little bit more right now, and I think we get to see more. I think we get to see more fights in Bloodsport, but we get to see more JCVD fights in Lionheart. If you guys get what I'm saying, right? Because in Bloodsport, all the fights are not JCVD, as where in Lionheart, just about all the fights are JCVD. So you may get more fights in Bloodsport, but you get more JCVD fights in Lionheart. So, weigh that out how you will, man. Um, yeah, I think I'm still gonna have to go Bloodsport. So yeah, I probably still go Bloodsport, man. So as we move forward to Double Impact, this is where I'm gonna set my flag. Okay, now there's more movies after this, but I kind of want to break these movies down. This is where I set my flag right here, man. Double Impact to me is the best JCVD movie out there. If you guys want to argue that, that's fine. That's all right. I got no issue with it. But I saw Double Impact and it just blew my mind, man. It was so badass. And the fact that they bring Bolo Young back in, and just how evil he is, right? He's still the same dude from Bloodsport, except just more like this kind of uh uh Hong Kong Chinese mafia dude, man. Um but the storyline was great, even though at the time I didn't even really know much of the storyline. I just knew that these dudes just killed Chad and Alex's parents, and they were just out for revenge, man. Once they were able to convince Alex, and just seeing the two brothers fight each other, I thought was cool. And by the way, all right, when I'm thinking about all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies that I've seen, okay, um, I know this was not his love interest in Double Impact, but Corey Everson, Hans. Corey Everson. I don't know who his. I really don't know who his love interest was in Double Impact. I mean, I know her, the blonde, but I don't know her name, or I don't know what else she's been in. But Corey Everson, the she was actually one of the villains. Alex actually threw down with her when he was trying to save his hyena, right? Um, hey dog, Corey Everson for me, Holmes, was that was some good stuff right there, dog. Corey Everson in her prime, in her day. I'm not talking about when she was a bodybuilder, when she was all super duper muscular and everything like that. No, when she got a little bit lean and lost some of that muscle mass, like when she was in Double Impact. Hey, dog, nice, very, very nice, dog. Hey man, very nice, dog. She was good stuff, dog. Good stuff, man. Corey Everson, man. I'm telling you guys, in my opinion, one of the finest, hottest hyenas, dog. In her prime, like I said, not when she was all muscular and all. Once she lost all that stuff, man, she was really good. Like I said in that movie. Um, so that's why I plant my flag right there. To me, there is no movie better than Double Impact when it comes to JCVD movies. Now, there's some other good movies, and we definitely are going to get to them. We're talking about movies like Hard Target. We're talking about movies like Nowhere to Run, and even Sudden Death, and some of those movies right around there. Universal Soldier, right around there is where the movie started to fall off a little bit once he started doing movies like Double Team. Even Street Fighter was a little bit it wasn't all too good. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about villains, because I truly believe that villains make up for a great movie. When I think about the Rocky movies, in my opinion, the best villain was Clubber Lang. That was in Rocky 3, and that made the movie that much greater. When it comes to JCVD, I'm not so sure if some of his best movies have the best villains. I think some of the movies that I thought weren't that good, the villains made up for it, and that's why they're memorable movies. Um, for example, Bloodsport, which a lot of people consider to be his favorite. I'm sorry, a lot of people consider to be the best movie of JCVD. I don't know, man. I look, that's fine because it's a great movie. It really is. But if we're talking about great villains, is Bolo Young really that great of a villain? Or I should say Charlie. I mean, that's his character in it. Is he that great of a villain? He does have some good moments. He does have some good moments, man. You break my record, now I break you like I break your friend. He does have some good moments, but I don't know if I would really put him like in the top 3 of the best villains when it comes to JCVD movies, man. I don't think I would, uh brick don't hit back, things like that, man. But um Cyborg, Cyborg. If you like the movie Cyborg, that's cool. That's fine. I don't know when's the last time you seen that movie. Go watch it again and come back to me and tell me how much you really love that movie, because I loved it as a kid, and it's today it's not as good as I thought. However, Fender, okay, the main villain. he makes that movie, dog. He don't get me wrong, JCVD had something to do with it, right? And some of the action scenes and the fight scenes and everything. But Fender, dog, that's one of the best villains in all of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Cyborg. If you want to talk about the best villain in all of JCVD movies, I'm not going to say Fender is the best, but he's got to be somewhere there. He's definitely got to be in the top 3. I mean, you can say that Bloodsport is a much better movie. That's fine. I got no issue with that. I agree with you. But is Chong Li a better villain than Fender was? I don't think so. What was Chong Li? His character didn't really do much, man. Fender, that dude was ruthless, Holmes. That guy was something else, man. That guy was. I thought he was like Charlie on steroids, dog. Hey, what's up, Fernando? Gracias, gracias. Yo, sí, carnal. Man, we're just over here talking some JCVD, Holmes. When you talk about even kickboxer, right? Tom Poole, he's supposed to be the main villain, but is he really the main bad guy? Isn't the other dude that shoot, I forgot his name, man. The guy that speaks for him, the guy that Jean-Claude Van Damme knocked out at the very end, right? He has Tom Poole up against the statue and he's beating his ass and he kicks him and then just pow. Ah, damn, I forgot that fool's name though, man. He seemed more of a villain than Tom Poole did. Yeah, Tom Poole, I get it. You bleed like my Lee, good. You guys know where I'm going with it. All right. I understand that you don't have to say much to be a great villain. I get it, and sometimes the being quiet and all kind of makes you even of a better villain. I understand that, but so far, homie, with those 3 movies, the first 3 right there, Bloodsport, Cyborg, and Kickboxer, give me Fender from Cyborg. Even though Bloodsport and Kickboxer, in my opinion, much better movie than Cyborg. However, we're just talking about a better villain. Give me Fender, much better villain, dog, than Tom Poole or Chong Li. When you think about Death Warrant, the Sandman, I don't know, dog. He was kind of whack. I didn't really like him too much, and he wasn't even really that big in the movie. There was no real. He was in the very beginning, and then he pretty much had nothing to do with the movie at all until he gets transferred to that prison, and that's already like towards the end. So maybe if the beginning of the movie didn't take place the way it took place, and he had to deal with Sandman throughout the movie, or trying to stay away, or trying to stay keep it on the down low that he's in there and try to stay away from him or whatever, and we see a little bit more Sandman, maybe he would have been a much better rated villain, right? Villain. But I don't think we saw enough of him, and I don't think he was really all that good to be real, man. So was he better than Chong Li? Was he better than Tom Poole? I don't even think he was better than those 2 guys, and those 2 guys didn't even really talk. And Sandman actually talked. But yeah, I don't. The movie Death Warrant's pretty good. Sandman was okay, but he wasn't great. I don't think he didn't make the movie better, is what I should say. Sandman did not make the movie better. So yeah, man. Going to Lionheart, I don't even know who the villain is in Lionheart. You're just setting them up to fight a couple of guys. Now, you can go ahead and point out Attila, which is the last guy that he fights. He's got that cat and all. I just, where's the villain? It's just, it's money. You're being paid to fight the guy. So if anything, probably the chick is more of a villain than Attila. So I don't really see the villain in that, man. It's, this is what you guys do, right? So it's like getting paid to fight. You guys didn't have any really beef with one another beforehand, you know. At least in movies like, because I had mentioned Rocky, at least in movies like Rocky 3, you had uh Clubber Lang having like real hatred for Rocky. You know, what'd you say, paper champion? You know, telling Adrian, why don't you bring your pretty self over to my apartment? I'll show you what a real man is. You know, things like that. Where in Lionheart, these guys don't even there's no animosity, there's no hatred, there's no, you know, you did this to my brother, or there's some sort of vengeance, or you know, nothing. So it's just like, hey, he's just a really, really good fighter, and we're gonna put you up against him, and this is a big payday. So there's really no villain there. That's why some a movie like Lionheart can just stand on its own, because there was no villain that really made that movie. Just the movie itself was that damn good. Um, going to going to Double Impact, uh, because there's so much going on in that movie. You could choose who the main villain is. You got the two bad guys. You got Zhang and shoot, I forgot the other guy's name that turned his back on the dad. But you could also say it was Bolo Young's character. But I'm again not really gonna pick a villain there, because none of them are really all that great. I mean, Bolo Young's character is great. He is, and I like his character in Double Impact. But you know, is it better than Fender and Cyborg? No, I don't think it is, man. Fender in the movie Cyborg had a lot of character. So I know, man. I got to go when we're talking about villains, just villains. We're not talking about what's a better movie. We're talking about just villains right now. As it stands, I got to go Fender from Cyborg, even though Cyborg is, I don't know, I'd probably rate it like number 7 or 8 of my favorite JCVD movies. What's up, Andres? Um, I'm trying to think which other movies would have like some real villains with great characters. When I think of Time Cop, you know, his character, what's his dude's name? Uh Tom, Ron Silver, right? Ron Silver. Thing his name, I think he went by Oliver McCall or something like that in the movie. I like his character, but there was no real final fight scene. Yes, he's the villain in that movie, and I do like his character. I like his character because he was a real gentleman, you know, but there's no final showdown with the two. You don't, it's not like, oh man, I can't wait for these two guys to throw down at the end. There was not there, none of that was meeting up to it. So, but as a villain, I guess we need to put him in there because he did have some charisma. He had a lot of charisma, as a matter of fact, man. And I do put him somewhere in there, but I can't put him in the same category. Eh, What is he a better villain than, say, somebody like Tom Poe? Yes and no. Yes, because his character does make the movie better. But no, because there's no, he's not fighting him at the end. As JCVD was gonna fight Tom Poe at the end. So there's no real meetup and matchup at the very end. So it's hard for me to put Ron Silver's character in Time Cop as a one of the top villains, even though maybe he does deserve to be somewhere around there. But it's hard because he doesn't fight him, and you're not even looking for him to fight him. So I can't even rate him there, dog. So I don't even really know what to do with this character. When you go to Nowhere to Run, that redheaded dude, they had a good fight scene. They had a good fight scene. I forgot the dude's name in the movie Nowhere to Run. They had a good fight scene, man. Believe it or not, Nowhere to Run, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who is known for some of the greatest kicks, and in my opinion, and my opinion alone, is the best kicker to ever be in movies of all time. Just the beauty of his kicks, man. Just the control that he has with his kicks, and just mesmerizing, man. Really, that's what captured my attention when I first saw him in the movie Bloodsport. In the movie Nowhere to Run, the reason I bring up his kicks, because in the movie Nowhere to Run, he does not kick at all. He does not throw not one kick, not one. Let me see. I'm off topic a little bit. Face Off had a good villain, Travolta. um, so that dude, again, I don't remember his name. He fought him when he's wearing a coat. It was actually a good fight scene. I really enjoyed that fight scene, but it didn't really seem like a really JCVD fight scene because there's not a lot of kicks. There's not really, I don't want to say martial arts, because he does use, a couple of good maneuvers here and there, but not what you saw in Lionheart, you're not seeing in Nowhere to Run. When you saw in Kickboxer or Death Warrant or Double Impact, or the way he fights in those movies, or even a movie like Hard Target, right, you don't see it in Nowhere to Run. So I like the fight scene, and the villain. I like the villain as well. I like the fact that he does the card tricks and everything. But I, as of right now, man, I still gotta go Fender from the movie Cyborg as the best villain right now. Let me see. Let's move to Nowhere. I'm sorry. Let's move to Hard Target. Yeah. Again, this is where it gets difficult. Okay, don't mistake what I'm saying. All right, but this is where it gets a little difficult. Okay, great villains in Hard Target, really good villains. I thought they made the movie better, but it's hard. It's hard to rate the villains when there's not some sort of final showdown that you're looking forward to, the anticipation to say these dudes are finally gonna fight, these dudes are finally gonna throw down. Yes, he has a final fight scene, but was anybody looking forward to that fight scene? Like, come on, dog. That Vato's an old man. I forgot his name, but he's been in a lot of things. He was in the movie Aliens. He's been in quite a few movies. I find it very, very hard to, if I was gonna, put a list with pictures and say, the best villains in JCVD movies, to have him in there. It's like, man, he was an old skinny man, and JCVD just went with his long hair, homie, and just kicked his ass. Like, I, it's good villain throughout the movie. I liked him. I really, really liked him. So maybe I'm rating them wrong. Maybe I should just rate them not because of the fight, because I'm anticipating them to fight at the end. I should just anticipate, well, how much did they bring to the movie. It's hard, man. I don't know if I could put in a category. Great villain, loved them. So that's, I guess that's all I could really say, man. That's all I could really say with when it comes to Hard Target. Um, Universal Soldier. Let's talk about this, okay? Because this does not get its due. All right. Is Universal Soldier a great movie or not? You guys let me know right now. Okay. I am on a teeter totter. Sometimes I go up, sometimes I go down. I don't know if it's really that good of a movie. When I rate JCVD movies, I'm not really sure where to put Universal Soldier. I I enjoyed it. At the same time, I was let down when I watched it. I I didn't really I don't know, man. It just wasn't that good to me. But at the same time, the villain, Dolph Spencer, Dolph Lundgren. Okay, Dolph Lundgren, Sergeant Andrew Scott. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. When you want to talk about great villains in JCVD movies, you better start bringing up Sergeant Andrew Scott. You got to start bringing up Dolph Lundgren. I'm all ears. You got to start bringing them up, man. Okay? That guy made that movie that much better. Because in reality, to me personally, Universal Soldier, I don't think is that good of a movie. It's okay. If I never watch it again, hey, so be it. If it's on, yeah, I'll probably leave it on, man, just for the whole nostalgia reason, just just to do it. It's not that bad of a movie. Okay. I don't want to say that the movie sucks because it doesn't. However, when you think about all the JCVD movies, I I don't know, man. I'm not really gonna rate it too far up there. But when if we're rating villains, oh man, Dolph Lundgren has got to be up there. I'm not really sure, dog, of who the best villain is. I don't know if it should be Fender or if it should be Dolph Lundgren. As a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, both Cyborg and Universal Soldier, I don't rate that high. I don't put them in my top 5 of JCVD movies. However, the villains, yeah, I think I do put them up there. I think they're both 1 and 2. Which one's 1, which one's 2? I don't know. But yeah, I think they're both probably the best villains, man. Even if we go oh, wait, hang on. Even if we go forward to movies like The Quest, good movie. I enjoy The Quest. But the villain, I don't know, nothing really there for me. Great villain in a JCVD movie, Street Fighter. Raul Julia as General M. Bison. So now I've kind of put myself in this corner because Cyborg, Universal Soldier, and especially Street Fighter, I wouldn't put in my top 5 JCVD movies. However, if we just talk about villains and villains alone, I think those are the top 3 villains right there, man. I think those are the top 3 villains. If we're talking about just villains in JCVD movies. Yet, neither one of those movies probably makes it to the top 5. If we talk about best fight scene, I'm not going to get into like Double Team and Knockoff, and those movies suck, Holmes. Um, if we get into the best fight scene, what do I think is the best fight scene? This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. And if anybody wants to jump on, man. The link's on there. But what is the best fight scene when it comes to JCVD movies? when I saw Bloodsport, it made me fall in love with the movie because you know, before that, a lot of the watching a lot of like the old martial art movies and stuff like that had a lot of like the powder. If you guys remember, like a lot of these martial art movies, they would put powder on them. So every time they got hit like in the chest, you see this poof of dust, and watching Bloodsport, I didn't see that. It was just different. It seemed more raw. And not to say, remember, Bloodsport came out, I think, in 88 or so, 87. So you got to think about it at that time. And at that time, at least me, myself, maybe there were movies out there already that had done something like that. But at least me, myself, I had not really seen something like that. It kind of blew my mind, man. Um, but when it comes to the best fight scene, in all of JCVD movies, there's some fight scenes that did let me down. Okay. When you think of movies like Universal Soldier, I can't rate that as the best fight scene, dog, because there's just a lot going on there. It's like, you know what? You got to stab yourself and give yourself, your steroids, Holmes, your spinach in a syringe, homie. Hey, what's up, Samuel? Um, Bloodsport, definitely great fight scene. I like the fight scene there. Cyborg, the final fight scene was a little bit of a letdown. It's like two different fight scenes, right? It's the fight scene where Fender's just kicking his ass, and JCVD lands a couple of good punches, and then he ends up stabbing him, right? And then we think he's dead, and then he gets back up, and now all of a sudden JCVD is able to throw some kicks and hurt him and everything. And that's when the fight scene got kind of good, yet it was very short lived. That if you count the whole fight scene in its entirety, it's probably not that good. If you count the very last part of the fight scene after Fender gets up from being stabbed, that part's good, but it's short lived. It's Most of the fight scene is before that, and it wasn't that good, so I can't put that fight scene there. Kickboxers fight scene, it got a little too cartoonish, man. It really did. I just, yeah, I like it. Don't get me wrong, and I would definitely watch it again and be very entertained. Do not mistake what I'm saying, but just a little too cartoonish, man. Just a little, too much of just him standing there and just Tom Pool just unloading punches on him. Like, and it was a good one, liked it, but no. Death Warrant, the final fight scene with Sandman. Again, it's one of those. That final fight scene was almost kind of like four different fight scenes, man, because he has to chase all over the prison trying to find them and everything like that, man. But once it got down to the nitty gritty, it became like two fight scenes, right? And then he hits them into the flames, into the fire. He comes out, or whatever, man. But I don't know if I'm killing the movie for you guys. Hey, if you guys haven't seen them, I don't know why you're here, but um, it was an all right fight scene. But again, good, but not great. I think so far Bloodsport is still the top one. Getting into Lionheart, now we're talking. That was a really, really good final fight scene. I like that one. And I don't know if it's even the best fight scene. See, that's the thing. This is why Lionheart is so damn good. Is because there is quite a few good fight scenes. In Bloodsport, if we're just talking about JCVD fighting, just him, right? Not all the other fights that took place, but just his fights. There's only one good fight scene. Okay, and that's when he fights Charlie. If you want to count when he fights Paco, when they're just kicking each other on the armpit, that's really not all. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. I liked it, but it wasn't that great of a fight, right? Whereas in Lionheart, you actually get some good fights, man. When he fights the real Paco in the empty swimming pool. Um, to tell you guys the truth, I think one of the best fight scenes in Lionheart is not even the final fight, even though that is a good final fight. But when he fights the Scottish dude, when they're in the parking lot and all the cars come, I've done a less fight on that. All the cars come and they make a circle with their headlights on. That's probably a better fight than the last fight, the final fight when he fights Attila. So, you know, I think Lionheart has the better fight scene than Bloodsport. I would say. What's up, Kern County Stories? No, but I do have it on my to-do list. So the last movie I went to go watch in theater was Super Mario Brothers, but I will make it a point to watch that movie air. Um, and I think that's probably where it's gonna land because even in my favorite JCVD movie, which is Double Impact, the fight that he has with Cha Li at the end, while it's a good fight scene, very short lived, not that long of a movie. I'm sorry, not that long of a fight scene. Good fight scene, but short lived. I liked it. Everybody, the anticipation leading to that was great. I mean, it was great, which made Double Impact so damn good, Holmes. Um, but it was a short fight scene. It was a short fight scene. The fight when both brothers, twin brothers, throw down, that's pretty cool. I like that. Um, Alex fights this dude that has cowboy boots on, and that's once he busted the light, that was it, dog. He just grabbed homeboy and just bah, bah, homie, just let the vato have it, dog. Yeah, Bloodsport, Lionheart have some good fights. You know what, Samuel? While they're not my favorite movies, okay, Double Impact is my favorite JCVD movie. Lion, if you want to go to the best fight scenes in JCVD movies, go to I would say number one. I would say go to Lionheart. That's you know in my opinion. I would say go to Lionheart, and yeah, you go to Bloodsport as well. Kickboxer, like I said, it got a little too cartoonish, just a little bit, man. I would say Lionheart number one when it just comes to fight scenes. Nowhere to Run, good fight scene. I like that fight scene. Nobody talks about that fight scene. I like that fight scene, man. But it does not because you don't see the high kicks, because you don't see the high flyer, JCVD movie spin kicks and everything like that. I can't put it up there with what you see in the movie Lionheart. I can't put it up there with what you see in the movie Bloodsport. I do like the last fight in Nowhere to Run. And I do have that fight scene. I will put it in my top five, man. To be honest with you guys, I will put that fight scene in the top five. Hard Target, that's not that final fight scene. Like, come on, dog. He's just fighting an old man with a stick. Holmes. Like, that's not. I'm not. Nah, dog. Let me see. Three is out. Haven't watched that. First ones. Kern County Stories. Watch it. Watch it. I loved it. I like it. Um, yeah, Hard Target. He fights the old dude with a stick. It was cool while it lasted, but it's not gonna match up anywhere near what you see in Lionheart or Bloodsport. And obviously, let me see, Street Fighter. No, they ain't gonna put that fight scene anywhere near the top. Um, Again, Time Cop, no real final fight scene in that movie. Yeah, so even movies like uh um Sudden Death. Um, yeah, he has a final fight scene with Powers Booth, but nobody really cares about that fight scene. Actually, the good fight scene in the movie Sudden Death, where he's at the hockey game, is against that penguin. He fights a hyena. He fights a girl who's in a penguin mascot outfit. That's a pretty good fight scene. I do like that fight scene, but again, doesn't match up to what you see in Lionheart and Bloodsport. And just going off the top of my head, man, I think that's it, because I'm not going to get into Double Team. I'm not going to get into Knockoff. Those fight scenes, I don't really like those fight scenes. And I mean, they're whatever, man. But those movies just suck. I'm not even going to bring those up. The Quest, before I end it, The Quest should be mentioned. However, I'm just going to throw this out there. The Quest is kind of like a little step brother to Bloodsport. So if you really like Bloodsport, you could watch the movie The Quest, but it's not gonna add up to Bloodsport. It's just not. It's like the little step brother to Bloodsport. Are there good fight scenes? Ah. I think there's some decent fight scenes in the movie The Quest. Even the last fight, the final fight is it's watchable. Don't get me wrong. And I do like the movie The Quest. You guys check out the movie The Quest if you guys haven't seen it. Okay. Don't think you're gonna watch one of his greatest movies, but check it out because it's definitely worth watching. But yes, it's kind of the same concept as Bloodsport. He goes into this tournament for the grand prize and everything like that, man. So he does fight a few times, but I just the fight scenes are, they're just decent. They're decent, and it's an okay movie, man. But yeah, so I would say the best fight scenes. Number one, Lionheart. You want to see the best fight scenes of JCVD? Go to Lionheart, and I would say number two, followed by Bloodsport, man. So, but like I said it already, my favorite movie, my favorite, well, best villains in JCVD movies. I'm gonna have to say the top three is gonna be General M. Bison, Raw Julia, Sergeant Andrew Scott, Dolph Lundgren, and Fender from Cyborg. Yet those three movies, I don't think are his top movies. They're not. They're not his top movies, man. They're good. I mean, Street Fighter's not all that good, but they're all right. But they're not his top movies, man. My number one favorite JCVD movie is Double Impact. Top three, if I got to round off the top three, I would say Double Impact 1. Man, I guess I would go Bloodsport followed by Lionheart. But Catch Me When the Sun is Shining Brighter or the Clouds Are Out, I might say Lionheart and then followed by Bloodsport. So, hey man, that's how I got it. So I don't know how you guys got it. You guys let me know. Round off your top three, your top five, man. However you guys see it, man. Who are the best villains? Where do you find the best fight scene? What is your favorite fight scene in any of the JCVD movies, man? And what is the best JCVD movie above them all? For me, it will always be Double Impact, Holmes. I'll catch you guys next time. M.A.S. Movies and Shows.